Ladies and gentlemen, Cowboys fans far and wide, today we are diving into a seismic event that could reshape the future of the Dallas Cowboys franchise forever. Imagine this: the Dallas Cowboys, hungry for dominance and a return to NFL glory, have just locked down one of the most fearsome pass rushers in the league, none other than T.J. What with a massive 4-year contract that signals an all-in effort to build a dynasty that could rival any era in NFL history. This isn't just a signing, it's a statement. It's a declaration that Dallas is ready to transform its defense from a competitive unit to an outright terror on the gridiron. The implications of this deal stretch far beyond just the numbers on the contract. They penetrate the very fabric of what the Cowboys stand for, how they build their roster, and how they compete in a league increasingly defined by star power and relentless pressure on quarterbacks. Let's start by understanding who T.J. Watt is and why his addition to Dallas would be a game-changer. Watt is not just a player, he's a force of nature on defense. With a relentless motor, elite athleticism, and the uncanny ability to disrupt offenses, Watt has been a consistent Pro Bowler and arguably one of the top edge rushers in the NFL today. His knack for forcing turnovers, sacking quarterbacks at critical moments, and setting the tone on defense makes him a player any team would kill to have. In the hyper-competitive environment of today's NFL, where elite pass rushers are as valuable as star quarterbacks, adding Watt to the Cowboys' defense sends a clear message to the entire league: Dallas means business. The Cowboys, over the past few years, have made moves that show a commitment to building a strong and well-rounded roster. They've locked in key offensive players with lucrative contracts, solidified their offensive line, and invested in skill position talent to support their high-octane offense. Yet, there's always been a missing piece: a dominant, game-changing pass rusher who can take the pressure off the secondary, collapse the pocket, and tilt the scales in Dallas' favor in those tight playoff games. Watt fills that void perfectly. He not only brings the physical presence but also the leadership and experience to elevate the entire defense. His arrival could very well be the spark that ignites the Cowboys' defense into a championship-caliber unit. Now, let's talk numbers, because in the NFL, money talks. The reported 4-year contract for Watt is nothing short of massive, estimated to be in the ballpark of $160 million total value, averaging about $40 million per year with upwards of $85 million guaranteed. This kind of contract reflects the elite status Watt holds in the league and places him among the highest-paid defensive players in NFL history. For the Cowboys to commit this level of financial resources to a defensive player shows just how much faith they have in Watt's ability to not only perform but to be the cornerstone of their defense for years to come. Of course, this deal comes with serious cap implications. The NFL salary cap is a constant balancing act, and front offices have to make tough choices to ensure they can pay stars like Watt while maintaining depth across the roster. Dallas will likely structure this contract with a sizable signing bonus that can be prorated over the life of the deal to ease the immediate cap hit. This approach gives the Cowboys some breathing room in the short term, but also means they will need to carefully manage their roster, renegotiate deals, and make strategic cuts to keep everything under the cap ceiling in the coming years. It's a complicated financial dance, but one Dallas seems ready to perform in order to bring Watt into the fold. Fitting Watt into the Cowboys' defense is another key factor to consider. The team's defensive scheme will need to evolve to maximize his talents. Watt thrives in systems that allow him to be flexible, where he can line up as an outside linebacker in a 3-4 scheme or as a defensive end in a 4-3, constantly confusing offensive lines with his ability to rush, drop into coverage, and make plays all over the field. Dallas coaching staff will have to be creative, designing blitz packages and coverage schemes that give Watt opportunities to wreak havoc without overexposing him to injury risk. Moreover, his presence will open up opportunities for other players on the defense. Opponents will be forced to double-team Watt, which frees up teammates to make plays. The ripple effect of adding a talent like Watt cannot be overstated. However, it's not just about the immediate impact. It's about building a sustainable, long-term core that can contend year after year. The Cowboys must complement what with smart draft picks, savvy free agent signings, and the continued development of young players. The front office's ability to balance star contracts like Watts with the rest of the roster will be critical to avoid being hamstrung by salary cap constraints. Remember, dynasties aren't built on one player alone but on a strong foundation across all positions. Watts' deal signals the beginning of that foundation on defense, but the rest of the roster needs to follow suit in quality and depth. Now, let's address the bigger picture. Can this move actually launch a Cowboys dynasty? What does it take to build a dynasty in today's NFL, and how does Watts' signing fit into that narrative? Historically, dynasties have been built on the back of dominant defense and consistent, elite quarterback play. Think of the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 1970s with their fearsome steel curtain defense, or the New England Patriots under Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, who combined strategic genius with star power on both sides of the ball. The Cowboys have flirted with greatness over the decades but have struggled to sustain it. This signing could mark the turning point, bringing a dominant defensive star who can anchor the team and help set a tone of excellence and toughness. Of course, there are challenges to sustaining success. The NFL is a brutal league where injuries, coaching changes, and front office decisions can derail even the most promising teams. Watts' health and consistency will be paramount. His contract, while lucrative, puts pressure on the Cowboys to perform, as large investments naturally raise expectations. The team will also need to ensure that other key players are signed to competitive contracts and that young talent is continuously integrated to maintain depth. The landscape of the NFC is fierce, with teams like the Philadelphia Eagles, San Francisco 49ers, and New York Giants also building formidable squads. The Cowboys will need to stay ahead not just in talent but also in strategy and adaptability. An interesting dynamic to consider is how Watts' signing compares to the Cowboys' recent decisions involving other star players. For instance, the Cowboys' trade of Micah Parsons, who quickly signed a record-breaking deal with another franchise, left a void at the edge rusher position. Watts' arrival would be seen by many as a direct response to that move, a way to reclaim dominance at the pass rush spot. Fans and analysts will inevitably compare Watts' production and leadership to Parsons, and the pressure to live up to or exceed Parsons' impact will be immense. This contract, while bold, is also a gamble, one that Dallas is clearly willing to take to secure their future. Naturally, not everyone will be on board with this signing. There will be critics who question the hefty price tag and the risks involved. Some will worry about Watts' durability or whether putting so much cap space into one defensive player leaves the rest of the roster vulnerable. Others will argue that Dallas should have invested more heavily in other areas such as the secondary or offensive line, or even considered quarterback upgrades. These are valid concerns and reflect the complexities of roster building in the modern NFL. Still, the excitement and hope that comes with locking in a player of Watts' caliber will energize the fan base and create a buzz that extends beyond Dallas. Looking ahead, the future scenarios for this signing are numerous and varied. In the best-case scenario, Watts remains healthy and dominant, transforming the Cowboys' defense into a unit feared across the league, driving multiple deep playoff runs and even Super Bowl appearances. This success would not only validate the contract but also establish Dallas as a true dynasty contender for years to come. In a moderate scenario, Watts provides solid production for a few seasons but may face injuries or a natural decline, allowing Dallas to compete but fall short of sustained dynasty status. Finally, in the worst case, injuries or a decline in performance could lead to the contract becoming a burden, limiting Dallas's flexibility and forcing tough decisions down the road. Ultimately, this signing is more than just a contract or a player acquisition. It's a pivotal moment in the Cowboys' quest to reclaim their spot atop the NFL hierarchy. It challenges the front office to manage finances wisely, the coaching staff to innovate schematically, and the players to perform at the highest level. It sets a new tone in the locker room and redefines expectations for the team and its fans. And for Cowboys Nation, it's a thrilling prospect, the promise of watching a player like T.J. Watt don the star on his helmet, chase down quarterbacks, and lead the defense with passion and intensity. So, as we reflect on this monumental signing, one question remains: can T.J. Watt's massive 4-year contract be the cornerstone that finally builds a lasting Cowboys dynasty? Only time will tell. But what's clear right now is that Dallas is playing for keeps, going all in, and betting big on a player who can change the game on every snap. If you're a Cowboys fan, buckle up, because the future just got a lot more exciting. And for the rest of the league, beware, the Dallas Cowboys may be back, and with Watt on board, they're ready to roar louder than ever before.